Hello, everybody. Welcome to Planet Holistic. I am your host, Todd Schaefer, and with me is my co-host,
Kira Schaefer.
And today we're going to talk about a really cool topic. We're going to talk about healers today. And the focal point of our topic today is...
I shouldn't have to pay a healer.
Why should I even pay for a healer?
What are they really doing?
So, Kira, let's talk about that. Why should I even pay a healer?
Well, the truth is that you're actually not paying for the healing. You're paying for their time and their expertise. And when we take a look at something like this, which is kind of interesting, right? Because we pay a doctor, whether we get the result or not, and we pay other types of services, whether we like what we've gotten or not. You know, we don't go to the grocery store and go, why should I have to pay for groceries? We just buy the groceries. Or when we come into a grocery store and we go, can I pay you later? Or can I pay on a sliding scale for these groceries? No, we just pay for whatever the groceries are. Now, we might utilize government programs and things like that to help us pay for those groceries, but ultimately, those prices don't change. And what I've noticed along the way is that sometimes healers will utilize that sliding scale option because somewhere inside of them, they don't necessarily, perhaps, believe that their worth constitutes them being paid their full dollar, their full fee. So that would be on the healer side of things, but on the purchaser or on the healee side of things, is that a word? I don't think so, but the person that is receiving that treatment, sometimes they don't think that they need to pay for it. Have you ever experienced any of this before, Todd?
I think, yes, I have. And I think largely because the healing industry, as it were, is unregulated mostly. So people don't know. It's not healing modalities aren't really established as traditional business practices. And because they're non-traditional, it's like, well, what am I paying for? And why am I paying for it? You know? So yes, I have experienced that, and it's really a pain.
Yeah, it is. Now, I remember when I first started doing energy work and healing work 20 years ago, I charged $35 for a session, and it would be an hour long, and I often got people into my experience there that were energy vampires. They were just sucking my energy. They weren't actually doing the work that they needed to do as a result, and I believe, of them not actually paying for my time, my worth.
Yes, and I think also the transformation that healers offer can be, well, there's two things that come to mind. One, people don't understand what transformation is, either of their emotions or their feelings, their beliefs, that kind of thing. The free world, the sensing, thinking world, thinks that they really don't have an understanding. They don't have that sixth sense that healers have, for the most part, to where they can have a working knowledge about how they function emotionally and energetically and in their feelings. I think a lot of the free will thinks that, well, this is my pain, I am my pain, and then they kind of build an identity around it. But that's really not the case. So, you know, sometimes the practice of a healer is to get them to dissociate from the fact that you are not your pain, you know. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. And the other thing that comes up for me is that people, if they're very much in victimhood, they might come and, not having a relationship with healing work, they might just throw up all of their feelings and emotions on you. So they're either too emotionally inaccessible to understand what the value is of healing, or they're too much in victimhood to understand.
Take responsibility.
To take responsibility. So that can really be, there really isn't a respected protocol for doing this. People aren't really postured to do healing work until we posture them. Because here's my case in point on that. If they don't have an understanding of what transformational work is, how would they be dealing with it on their own? Well, they'd be self-medicating, they'd be drinking and smoking or drugs or whatever. They'd be drowning essentially, right? Either burying it down or just throwing it up in victimhood in front of everybody. So because people have such low awareness about themselves, either with not having any relationship with themselves emotionally or being too much in victimhood, healers really have to help posture people in order to help them to understand and see the benefit into what kinds of results they can expect from a healer. So that said, healers do need to charge appropriately, because that is a lot to take on.
It is. It's absolutely one of the things that I realized. A friend of mine who was also a client early in my career, she said, you should never charge less than $100 an hour for your service.
Right.
And I said, why do you think that? She said, because you do so much. You are doing so much. You are holding so much energy, or you are managing emotions. You are working people through issues, all of that kind of stuff. Things that a lot of times people aren't even getting in traditional psychotherapy, and nothing against traditional psychotherapy. I think it's absolutely wonderful and is incredibly useful. But you'll also notice that is a $300 an hour service. And so when we look at the structure of something like that, it's because it's structured. Todd says, money loves structure, right? And that's exactly it. When you have a structure built into your business or into your practice or as a healer, not only do you get a different quality of client, and I'm not trying to say that they're bad clients or good clients. You just get a different quality of client who is willing to do that work and willing to put in the effort with you, instead of you having to drag them along and try and help them see what they need to see in order to help them heal. And so yes, we started this conversation out with, I shouldn't have to pay a healer. Well, the truth is that not only should you pay a healer, but that healer should be asking for that appropriate, equal, and energetic exchange.
Right. Because it's largely unregulated, and because healers usually become healers because they're initiated through their own wounds, which they later become experts at helping other people with, it's imperative that we establish our worth in terms of price points and know what our worth is to charge, because no one else is going to do it for us, right? We're not tied into the pharmaceutical industry. We're not really tied into the insurance industry. The old world systems really aren't catered to us, and people don't really understand what we offer unless they're already exposed to it. So we really, as healers, we really have to know what our value is, and we have to charge it, because no one else is going to stand up for that. And you're offering a service of tackling people's emotions and helping them to become empowered. That's the most challenging type of work that there is. That's not coming into a clinic to sit in a waiting room and then have a doctor come ask you a few questions for a few minutes, and then maybe prescribe you a pill or do something else, and then off they go. And obviously there are better doctors than others out there too, not to poo-poo that per se, but what I'm saying is that's largely structured and regulated, and people know what to expect. They'll pay way more money for way less service because it's something they're already familiar with. And most people aren't familiar with what healers can offer, not the free world, although more people are becoming aware of it. So we really do have to charge for that result and for that process that people don't understand yet. Just because they're not aware of what you do does not mean that you charge any less. You charge for your time and or you charge for your results. Kira said $100 an hour. I would say usually I go higher than Kira on this stuff.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, usually I go higher than her, but in this case, I usually say, $65 to $75 an hour minimum, no matter what your service is. Because remember, pricing isn't just about your self-worth and what people must pay to receive the value you offer. Pricing is also posturing and qualifying people. So when you price something appropriately, you are going to disqualify the people who would take advantage of you, and you're going to attract a whole different clientele in terms of knowing, because most people do know that they're going to get what they pay for, generally speaking. If it's really cheap, you're going to get a healer with low self-worth, and you're going to attract victim clients. If you're charging 75 to 100 plus, deliver the goods, deliver the value, and you're going to attract people who are a little bit more serious about receiving that value.
And they'll also take responsibility for any homework that you give, things like that, because you want to offer a tremendous amount of value when it comes to having a higher price point. You want to give a lot, and that's okay to give a lot, as long as it's not time. You want to give homework, you want to give other types of benefits, you want to put them in a Facebook group or something like that helps you to build community and connection with folks, or maybe do some kind of weekly call or monthly call, and that will help to, and a call meaning like a group call, conference call, something like that, where you're not spending a whole lot of time for money type of thing, but you are offering tremendous value. You could even do a conference, things like that, to add more to what you're giving them, so that you can continue to keep them, in your tribe. And we're not saying to keep them in your tribe in order to keep getting money from them. That's not the point. The point is that they'll stay there as long as they need to continue the process of getting more healing,
right,
getting more work done, getting more connection, learning more about themselves. What we found in our practice was that, if somebody worked with us for 12 weeks and potentially buying a package or something like that, at the end of that 12 weeks, they would have found something new that they want to unravel, they want to peel back the onion on, and as a natural result, more good things happen in their life. So asking for that money, allowing yourself to have that higher price point is just going to make your life so much easier. And yes, clients out there, people who are seeking help and love and connection and helping them to develop, you guys who are wanting to develop, yes, you do need to pay for what it is that you're getting from folks, truly.
Yeah, good point. And it turns out a lot of the stuff we're talking about happens to be covered in my book,
Yes.
Selling Emotionally Transformative Services on Amazon. We weren't thinking about that when we
No.
started this, but a lot of the stuff is covered in there. But at any rate, really good content here, and healers definitely need to be charging what they're worth. And even if the public doesn't understand, you can charge whatever you want as long as you are posturing the sale and telling people what's going to be involved, and putting some structure around your business. If you have if you're a psychic or a tarot card reader, people are going to expect that to be more of a novelty service, even though you might be offering transformative healing services through that. So you really do need to posture people through your online content and your intake assessments when people come in, so that people understand what it is you offer and what transformation is going to involve. And we are out of time today, so thanks for this, Kira. This has been a great podcast. Lots of great information for healers, for sure. I'm Todd Schaefer.
And I'm Kira Schaefer.
And this is Planet Holistic.
Holistic.